Attention is a new currency, but we've got to define the word attention. What's going on, my high vibrational individual expressions of God on earth? It's your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. Got a free show before we jump into the next pay-per-view show that starts on the 20th as we jump into the revamped system of name, niche, and narrative that's been rebranded, if you want to use that term, as the DMV, which is this ability for us to understand that we all have a destination. And we've got to be able to describe it in vivid detail to ourselves. That destination, you need a map. You need a motivated abilities pattern, a step-by-step process by which to arrive at your destination. You also need a vehicle to go with the map to take you to your destination. So with these three keys, you are able to, again, get into the new heaven, the new earth, and the new Jerusalem. Because in the new heaven, the new earth, and the new Jerusalem, it is a place of structured thought. It's a place where peace is consciously and intentionally woven together. It's a place where you and I are able to operate in a mental disposition where we understand why attention, which is magnetism, which is wholeness, wellness, completeness, and mental harmony. Structured peace is the new mechanism by which you're able to create a routine that allows you to experience personal growth and spiritual well-being. It is this place of spiritual well-being, this symphony, if you will, where life is harmonious. It's this harmonious, again, expression of a mental disposition. That's attractive. That's magnetic. That gets you what you and I call attention. So attention has nothing to do with what's being promoted or what is being defined by the dominant culture. That's not really attention. You see, attention is a result of this authentic confidence that comes from being different, from being unique, from being yourself. So you don't want to really be anyone else. You're not interested in trying to be a copy. You also understand that in order for the light of the stars to be seen, they must be in darkness. So you understand, as I've come to understand, that you must be comfortable with being what most people call uncomfortable. It simply means that you are in a space. You're in a frequency wave of vibration. You are in a mental disposition where, you understand that this frequency wave of vibration that most people call problems, aka attention. So people are going to be drawn to you. They may not even know why they are drawn to you, but you know why. So you will no longer be afraid of the light. You will understand that everybody may not be worthy, if you can use that term, of your time or your life. But you get out of this space where a lot of people are not comfortable with being seen. And it's interesting because the reason that we are afraid of being seen is because we are unconsciously afraid of being either taken advantage of or being exposed, as if there's something to be ashamed of or something to hide. See, no one can disrespect you unless you let them. So it is this new space, this new disposition. I say new only because it just hasn't been promoted. So the new heaven, the new earth, the new Jerusalem is a space. It's a place where old frequencies, waves, and vibrations finally are able to be comfortably seen. So when someone looks at you, again, when I say look, I mean that they pick up your frequency. Now, remember, most people don't even know why your frequency is on their radar. They may be in a mental space where they can unravel it, but most people are not able to understand why are you appealing? Why are you interesting? Why are you authentic, different, and you have a visual framework? So your vocalization creates your visual framework. So when you speak, a visual framework or image is constructed inside of my brain. Just when you start talking, because you're not talking from a space where you're trying to take, where you're trying to harm, or you're trying to defraud someone, you're coming from an authentic place. So anytime you speak from an authentic place, you're literally structuring consciousness. You're literally structuring spirit. See, this is why this is so, this is like otherworldly. Because when you understand that, wow, okay, so that's why. We're living in a time, in a day, and in an age when attention is a new currency. But attention, it's not what we've been taught. We were taught that attention means a bunch of people gawking at you, looking at you, and trying to take advantage of you, or trying to find a way by which. See, we were taught to read and not to reason, especially if you got any type of melanin in your system, whether it's 1% or 100%. If you are a melanated individual, you were given religion. You were given poverty. You were not given prosperity. If you're a melanated individual, and non-melanated individuals too, but primarily melanated individual, I was reading a letter by Leopold, King Leopold from Belgium, when he went to Africa, and he told them, it's a crazy letter. He said, you can't give the Africans, the black man, he used the N-word. He said, you can't give them what they already got. Them Negroes know God. So we got to reframe God. We can't give them religion because they already got it. But what we can give them is a new interpretation of religion that teaches them poverty instead of prosperity. I was blown away at the simplicity by which to put in this case, Negroes in a box. Teach them how to read. That will destroy their reason. Because what they're reading is our definitions. Whoever controls your language controls you. And so when I'm talking to, I keep it on, I'm talking to them, when I'm talking to people of any stature, the goal is it's not about money. Money is icing on the cake. Paper money, things, you buy those things. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not one of these knuckleheads that walk around and talk about, you don't need money. Those fools, another study for another time. Is it like these religious nut jobs that we was talking about yesterday with the new series that I was telling you guys to watch? Because I'm seeing a lot of warm and fuzzy, touchy-feely stuff on the internet and all over. It's been around. It's just more this, feel good, warm and fuzzy, but nobody, again, is a single standing column of waves that has collapsed into a specific particle. That simply means nobody has their DMV system. That simply means nobody has their own frequency, their own voice. Nobody has activated their own particle or portal. That just simply means that it's very important that you and I, that we don't blow smoke up each other's butts, that we come for a specific purpose of making sure that even though our heads are in a cloud, we're spiritual beings. Our feet are firmly planted on the ground. We take care of our 3D stuff. That's all it means. It means that each individual is a whole. And then you come together to create an organization. That's how relationships work. Relationships don't work if you got two halves. They only work if you got two wholes. If you got two individual, single-standing columns that have chosen, nobody is making nobody do anything. Nobody is nobody's slave. Everybody is 100% self-sufficient. And we are continuing to assist each other with being more self-sufficient. But that self-sufficiency is a mental disposition. It is not a 3D act. It will express itself through the 3D once you structure your energy correctly. So spiritual structure, and we mentioned that yesterday, is what we talk about when we talk about focus, discipline, and order. That's the hidden spirit. That's the thing that's behind the Bible, or what we call the Bible. It's structure. It is structured thought. It's not accidental. So once you understand that the hidden structure behind, aka the spiritual, the biblical, God's pattern of, establishing this ability to be mentally sound. God has not given us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of love, power, and a sound mind. You should be mentally sound. There's a lot of people that are not mentally sound. So when you talk about mental illness, what is mental illness? Mental illness is a lack of structure. It's a lack of what we talked about and mentioned yesterday when we talked about the New Jerusalem. In the New Jerusalem is Jaru, which means to flow, which means to structure. Salam is peace. So structured peace is the result of a structured spirit, which is the result of a structured mind or structured thought. So structure involves creating a routine or a pattern that's based upon wholeness. It's based upon oneness or completeness. We call that mental harmony. But mental harmony is the result of you being able to be very comfortable being in the limelight, which has nothing to do with the social media influences. That's worldly. I'm talking about spiritual attention. Spiritual attention means you are here doing this. You are breathing in God's good air because you have a purpose. That's attention. Attention means that you are very comfortable in your purpose. Attention means that you're very, very comfortable in your skin. Attention means that you're not trying to fade into the background. Attention means that you're not hiding. It doesn't mean that you walk around here arrogant and cocky trying to promote yourself. But it doesn't show mean that you're not trying to be invisible. See, attention means that you have structured peace. It invites individuals to become conscious themselves. That's why the universe needs you to be you. Not me, you. You got to be comfortable in your own skin. See, structured peace means you are a conscious architect. You are the architecture of your spiritual journey. Bam. That's just powerful. You can't buy that at, J.C. Penney's. They don't sell it, bruh. It's intentional. You are intentionally weaving your soul into something that is whole. So it is wholeness, it is oneness, and completeness. It is when this wholeness and this oneness brings about this completeness, bam, mental harmony. That's the New Jerusalem. That's the new heaven. That's the new earth. That means that you are in a mental disposition where you can't be bamboozled. You know what that means? Could you imagine if you can't get conned? What does that mean? Remember, the devil is not stupid, or the universe is not stupid. The universe is a mirror. That's all it is. It's two sides of the same coin. Whatever degree the pendulum swings to the left, it also swings to the right. So I have no problem talking about dark shit because I'm a light being. But I've already been in the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark. Think about, there are some people who are afraid of the dark. There are some people who are afraid to talk about the dark. I understand that. Remember, anytime you are pondering, especially when you add emotion, the brain thinks it's real. I have no problem with my brain thinking that when I talk about my past experiences of how I grew up, And I add, I don't have any emotional attachment, but some people think I do. But I don't. So I can easily talk about my past. Why? I'm not reordering it. Why? I've already structured it. What does that mean? That means I've already dealt with it. I've learned the lesson. People get very uncomfortable. Some people, not all. Hopefully nobody on this call. When I talk about my past, when I talk about my childhood, the way I grew up, when I talk about my mom, when I talk about my dad, I talk about walking the streets of Richmond, I talk about, trying to figure out where I was going to sleep at when I was 13 and 14 years old. Especially for some of you the new people, the more new people are that come into the group or start listening to my shows, I got to go back and start repeating some of the old stuff. You guys have been rolling with me for 5-6 years. You probably, why Doc is talking about the shit that we heard 30 times already. So you guys like my kids, like your dad, we know. We heard that already. But what is the point? There's a lot of people that they weren't around when I was homeless 8 times. They don't know the story. I got people, I'm a brand new cat from TikTok. Think I've been living in a $1 million house, driving a convertible Corvette all my life. He couldn't believe where I started. He never heard the story. Just because you talk about the past, it don't mean that you live in the past. Damn sure don't mean I live in the past. Past has no power over me, but I know the past contains my cash. If you ever forget the past, your ass is in trouble. So make sure you be very careful when people tell you forget your past. That's telling you to forget where you came from. Why would you disconnect from your ancestors from your past? Remember, for all of the negative things that happened in my past, there was probably 3 times more, so like 25% negative, 75% positive. I talk about the 25% negative because people learn more when they're in the valley than they do on the mountain. I don't know about you, but when life is really, really good, you usually, what? You're partying, spending money, traveling, you're out buying shit, you're having fun. But it's amazing when you in the valley, it's like God got your attention. All of a sudden, you're super spiritual. You're praying. You reading your Bible, going to church. Whatever your spiritual. Remember, you're a spiritual architect. But very few people understand how do you weave and cleave. How do you become a spiritual architect where you have spiritual discernment? When somebody's trying to con you, you know. But you ain't this stuff that I'm seeing on Facebook and the internet. You ain't one of them. What is one of them? Could you imagine understanding that most people don't really want the truth? They just want constant reassurance of their existing truth, which is usually not the truth. They just want you to validate what they believe. People get real uncomfortable. I love it. If there's anybody who disagree with anything, please, man, text me, call me. I love when people disagree with me. So, Cassandra, I love it, so Cassandra, when somebody disagrees with me. Because that tells me I need to do a better job of explaining me, or maybe I'm wrong. So what I do, so Cassandra, I go back and I reconfirm what I believe. Because attention is the new currency. But the definition, the word attention, it means that you live in tense. Tense is time. So I'm in time currently. So because why? Faith is now. So that means reacting is ordering. So when you react, that means to end. Re means to return. And act is a drama or a play. So anytime, remember, we don't create anything, you just react to things. Events happen, you only have control over how you respond. If it rains, did you make it rain? No, you did not. Did you make the sunrise this morning? No, you did not. You may think you did. There are people, like I tell you guys, watch that new series because it totally reminded me of how I grew up. It's called Love Has Won. It's called The Cult of the Mother God. And it's this lady, I said yesterday. Now, my childhood wasn't as bad as that as far as the physical events. I'm talking about the mental disposition. Notice the mindset of everybody who joins the cult. Because remember, it's not a cult. It's interesting, nobody calls a cult a cult. It's just that it started off with everybody just getting together, praising Jesus, like everybody do. But notice how the titles that are assigned to people. Then notice how it just grows. Nobody puts that person. She didn't put herself on that pedestal. Her followers did. She didn't tell. She really didn't tell. Now she was out there, but notice how cults are found or started. Right? If I was not a moral person, and I'm not a moral person from a biblical perspective, I'm a moral person from an authentic perspective. In other words, most people study the Bible and God more than they study themselves. Right? I got $100. Everybody on this call, you know more about Jesus than everything else that you know about yourself. Now, so what do I mean? It's very interesting. Now, remember, I like psychology. I love how, especially what they call, that Dr. Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins, he has a system of thought called the map of consciousness. And he talks about the visual frameworks and how the human brain works. I love psychology. And the reason I love psychology is because behind, especially deviant behavior, I love deviant behavior. Because it tells you why. Everybody is talking about what. Everybody tell me what they are. I don't really care what you are. Why? You're a Muslim, why? You're a Christian, why? Nobody can tell me why. Now, you're going to tell me what your mom and your dad, you're going to tell me some shit that you've learned. You're not going to tell me how you personally went to Mecca and how you personally investigated and how you went and you fucking did your own digging and architecture, you carving data some stuff, how you went into the lab and did some experiments yourself. You're not going to tell me any of that. You're going to just regurgitate somebody else's stuff. Remember, King Leopold, like I said at the beginning of the show, when they went to Congo, I don't know if y'all remember, they right now, they're over there in Belgium, they sell chocolate hands. They thought it was from gorillas. No, it was from black folks. To this day, you should read King Leopold's letter of how he conquered Congo. Y'all people think about Napoleon and Trail of Tears. Read about what happened to the black people over in Belgium, or what the Belgians did in the Congo. But you know how they defeated the black man? Because when he got there, they already had religion. Before 1611 Bible, there was something called the Geneva Bible of 1510. You're a Christian, you should read that shit. You should read the Geneva Bible from 15, before King Jimmy. Why nobody talk about the Geneva Bible? And what's in it? Now, remember, I'm a student of history. In fact, when I was in high school, the only A that I had was in history. For some reason or other, even though I was sitting in class and I was in school, the more consolidated high school. The whole time I was sitting in class, I was thinking about making sure I avoid certain people in the hallway after the bell rung. Them niggas from Richmond, because they was always trying to jump me for some other reason. Probably because I was picking at women. Not study for nothing. But then I was thinking about, damn, how am I going to get home today? Because I know I had to be, I had this friend of mine, his name was Michael. But damn, I got to ask Michael to catch him, even though he's with all my, every girl I was dating, this nigga was dating at the same time. But I had to be nice to him because he had a car. I was on my way home. So he knew I needed him. That's why I preach self-sufficiency. If somebody needs you, they're going to talk to you. If they're not a high vibrational like you are. If they're not led by the Ruach and the Luma. So in the Geneva Bible of 1560, if I remember correctly, it's real on the internet. It's totally different than the 1611 King James Bible, especially all the parts that deal with slavery and masters, especially the book of Philippians. You should do a side-by-side page study like I did. The 1611, read John 3:16 and the King James 1611 Bible, but then read John 3:16 in the 1560 Geneva Bible. Oh, it's crazy, but you can't tell no person. Don't come. Remember, the brain does not want to know anything that challenges, because that will create toxic shame. There's no Negro that wants to experience toxic shame after they've been believing something for their entire life. Remember, I went through the whole thing. I told you guys about it. Should I damn near committed suicide? And for real. Could you imagine you wrong, you believe in something your whole life and you find out it's a lie? What you got left? You got to go find a bridge, a tall bridge. Because you know you've been punked. But I already went through it, so I'm going to save you the hassle. I don't recommend it. What I do recommend is become authentic. What does that simply mean? That is yourself. What does that mean? That means that you're going to tap into or put into the deep psychology of the emotional need to belong to some type of a group and to form a solid identity based upon the group for your individuality. Bam, into religion. That's a quote for some deep psychological stuff that we don't have the time to put down today. You are part of a mind control group. It's like we are, that's human nature. We want to be a part of something so bad, we sell our individuality down the creek. So I noticed that about myself, so I force myself. Even now, I force myself to go the opposite direction. Even if the group is right, I still go, I would rather be individually wrong instead of being group correct. Because it talks about that inside of the Geneva Bible. And it says not to do things that's supported by the government, because that's the prince of the power of the air. In the book of Ephesians. Even though the Bible says broad is the road that leads to destruction, narrow is the road that leads to righteousness. It's interesting that inside of the brain, inside of the mind doesn't want to go down a rabbit hole that I went down. Because you instinct and intuitively know the mind is very powerful. You already know everything. Nobody on this call can tell you anything that you don't already know. I already know in my gut. I just know. When I'm doing something wrong, I know in my gut. I just don't say nothing to myself. Because I don't want to deal with myself. Because then that means I got to do something. That means I got to get up off the sofa. That means I got to stop being lazy. That means I got to take accountability. That means I got to, make some changes in my life. So instead of doing that, I just I go with the group. Because the group says blankety blank, and I was like, okay, everybody else is doing it. So what that does is that keeps you from activating your shine. You see, disagreement doesn't mean disrespect. Reading should not replace reasoning. Poverty should not replace prosperity. But King Leopold said that's the only way to get the Negro to be a slave. Because he got to be a slave in his head. Because you can't make him a slave physically because he got all the attributes and characteristics. All resources come from, there's way more coal and iron, and this is just basic facts. And it goes, you can go, all the animals are where? All the trees, the fruits and stuff grow on the continent. Well, same thing inside of you. All the melanin and all of the, what they call black body physics is inside of a melanated individual. Even your earwax is different. There's just a bunch of videos floating around on TikTok. Even your digestive system is different. Ladies, even your menstrual cycle is different. Everything is different if you're a 9-ether being. But that's not the point of the class. The point of the class is for you, an individual. Let's just keep this personal. Like, you can't change the world, but you can change yourself. And by changing yourself, what happens? You can articulate, communicate, and accumulate. If you can articulate, you can communicate. If you can communicate, you can accumulate. So that 3-step process is what I'm about. I'm just interested in talking to people, because guess what? Your belief system will take care of itself. So I don't really care what your religious belief is. So I know that there's something bigger. That's bigger fish. You have an innate intelligence design system. Remember we talked about that before? That doesn't come from religion. That comes from God, the real one. So if you're life path 1, you like nature. If you're life path 2, you like music. If you're life path 3, you like math. If you're life path 4, you like life. If you're life path 5, you like people. If you're life path 6, like me, you like bodies. If you're life path 7, you like words. If you're life path 8, you like yourself. If you're life path 9, you like pictures. Now, that's inside of your big connector part. Those are the 9 universal. Guess what? It doesn't care if you're black. It doesn't care if you're white. It doesn't care if you're green. The universe doesn't care. So everything is frequency. So that's what I frequently see. So that automatically. So what if I align my mind with my design? Now, I don't know why, but that's called reason. So King Leopold knew that. And when he went to Africa, he said that the black people that were there in the Congo, they knew that. So he couldn't punk them. So the only way he could not give them Bibles, he could not give them religion, because they eat them. It was Christianity originated in Africa. So he told them that their Bibles was worthless unless they could come out with a king that says, was in your Ethiopia, 15, 14, 13, way before 1611. So he knew the same thing I do, what I knew. King Leopold knew psychology. He understood how to mind fuck people. So when Willie Lynch came over to the beach in Virginia and he saw that the slave owners in America was beating their slaves, man, he said, man, y'all fools is crazy. Why are you destroying your livestock? It's like running money. So he wrote, the Willie Lynch letter. Whether you believe the story or not, it's irrelevant, because he said this shit would work for 300 years. But the day of that letter on Virginia Beach, when I read it, I had all it was like 10 things to do to make a good house Negro. I had all 10. So I was a good house Negro. So I know what I'm talking about. He said this, if you do this, implement it, it will work for 300 years. That's why there was such around, the stuff around, I think it was 2012, blah, blah, blah. The world was full then. The Mayan calendar. That's why things started changing in 2012. This is 2023. So that attention is a result of the new age of Aquarius. Acquire, I, us. Aquarius. So we're in the age of the water bearer. Water means life. So in the Bible, in Luke, when it says, when you see the man with the pitcher of water going to the city is the cell is the New Jerusalem. We hear now, boy, wake up. You do not have to live in darkness anymore. But we still got a little residue of Willie Lynch. We still got a little residue of the Congo, 1611, King Jimmy. We still got a little broke ass. Y'all call it Boaz. We still got a little that poverty disposition. We still got the residue of reading instead of reasoning. We still got the little residue. So we got to shake off the grave clothes. Bam! That's attention. So if you are uncomfortable, and a lot of people are, I already know why you're uncomfortable. Because nobody likes the light shined on them when they ain't them. See, the more authentic you are, the more confident you are. Confidence is a bad thing. Because confidence is what we call, but it's not cocky because of what you do. It's cocky because of who you be. So I'm able to flow from a place of love, from a place of joy, from a place of peace. Now, that has nothing to do with the 3D reality. But the 3D reality, when you hold the 9-chi spirituality, then the 3D reality must line up with the 9-chi mentality, or, the inner controls the outer. So your job and my job is to create a visual system which creates curiosity and appeals to the mind and the desires of other people. That's your job. But it's a vocal. That means it's a mental disposition that you hold in your head. That mental disposition that you hold in your head, it appears to the deep psychology of the emotional need of everybody to attach to God. When you hold the vibration of the kingdom of God, you walk, you go to Marshalls and you go shopping at the mall, and you are carrying a vibration. Nobody can't understand it. You think it's your hair, your big chi-chis, or your little chi-chis. I mean, you think it's your muscles. You could think it's your degree. You may be a member of Phi Beta, Phi Beta, Kappa Alpha, or whatever, and you think it's because you walking around with your pledge and making your little signs, and because you graduated from some historically black college, you have no idea it's your frequency. So when you step on stage, the stage is when you activate your skin. When you activate what's within. Now the whole world changes. You have just deliberately orchestrated a harmonious composition that resonates with my soul. And my soul is my mind, my will, my emotions, my imaginations, and my intellect. You have just unknowingly, that's why you get all the attention. But because you don't want the attention, you unknowingly sabotage your success. Now remember, I am not talking about physical attention of people looking at you. I'm not talking about people trying to get in your DM. I'm not talking about people following you on Facebook and Instagram. That's icing on the cake. That's secondary to the wholeness, the completeness, and the oneness that is cultivated by a mental disposition of harmony, which is cultivated from a mental disposition of acceptance. which is cultivated from a mental disposition of authenticity. You just give up, stop fighting, and just say, Big G, I love me. You just stop trying to come up with reasons why it should be somebody else. You just quit fighting yourself, man. I know it's going to be the hardest thing you got to do in your life. The hardest thing that you got to do in your life is to be a god or a goddess. Because, just like King Leopold said, the more melanin that you have in your system, the more belittled and degraded and confused you are. You are not comfortable with the attention. The reason that you're not comfortable with all of this attention, there is a lack of wholeness. There is a lack of completeness. There's a lack of oneness. So in order for you to go to the grocery store, in order for you to go on social media, in order for you to write a book, in order for you to do a show, in order for you to do anything that's a part of, that would take you out of the cloud, out of the cross, and out of the cube, because those, again, based upon the psychology that I mentioned earlier, remember, below the threshold of your consciousness is a desire. This desire that is below the threshold of your consciousness is forcing you to be a part of a group and to tap into the collective hive mind consciousness and to believe the narrative that is promoted by the dominant culture that states you should be afraid to talk about certain things. You should be afraid to go certain places. You should be afraid. Any type of fear is dominant culture. It's King Leopold. It's the dark side. It's the manipulation. Why? You are both. You have been translated out of darkness into the marvelous light. Inside of singularity exists what you and I call duality. Whatever degree the pendulum swings to the left, it also swings to the right. So what I'm talking about in my highest moments are my deepest, darkest days. Both of those are used for my good. All things work together for my good. So I don't experience this ideal that's promoted by the dominant culture. Because in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, I am. In everything. Because we have control over one thing. How do you respond? I respond. I choose, though. It's conscious. I'm a conscious architect. So I'm structuring my thought. My spirit is structured in a manner that sees the silver lining inside of all the clouds. Whether the cloud is dark or light, it's the same thread runs through both clouds. Because both clouds, left and the right, is attached to one bird. So when you are a higher functioning frequency, wave and vibration, you understand there is no good, there is no evil, there is just interpretations. You get to choose to interpret the interpretation. So I'm the observer of the observer. Ooh-wee. So are you at the highest level. Remember, the observer determines what is observed. But the observer of the observer is to observe what is determined without participating in what is determined unless he or it chooses. At this level, again, I choose if I want to engage in the darkness. And I choose if I want to engage in the light. I'm the observer of the observer. They told you that the observer determines what is observed. But when you are the observer of the observer that is determining what is observed, that means you are sitting or standing behind the person sitting in the chair with the controllers in their hand that's playing the video game on the screen. You're not the screen. You're not the character in the screen. You're watching. You're not the controller in the person's hands. You're watching. You're not the person sitting in the chair that has got the controller, that's playing the game. You are the observer of the player of the game that's controlling the character inside of the computer. You're not the spirit. You're not the soul. You're not the body. You are now source. That's a whole nother game, man. Everybody's playing checkers. See, you got to play chess, though. When you get to this level, now all things work together for your good. Because now you are the observer of the observer. So I'm conscious of my consciousness and my unconsciousness and my subconsciousness. See, now you are standing and you can interject. Could you imagine if you were able to go to the top of the Empire State Building and watch a parade? From that level, you're up so high, you can see the start of the parade, you can see the middle of the parade, and you can see the end of the parade. And you can interject at the end, or you can interject in the middle, or you can interject in the beginning. Or you can go to a whole new, you get from that viewpoint, you can look behind you and look at a whole nother parade. From that vantage point, that's source. See, source is not in the parade. Source provides the demographics of the landscape for the parade. That's you. Me and you, if we so choose, to stop playing small. See, at this level, you understand something that how King Leopold understood that the consciousness of language don't control their religion, control how they perceive their religion. Dude was a genius. From the perspective of how do you create a slave? Nobody talks about Belgium and King Leopold and the Congo. How come? The dominant culture don't want you to know that part of history, bro. But didn't I tell you what happened to the Moors? They civilized the Neanderthal twice. The Dark Ages was what? What would happen before the Dark Ages? See, we're not really students of history. Many of us. Understandable. We got other shit to do. I can't be sitting around there researching history, brother. See, when you at this level, number one, you are very appealing. This is why I talk to some ladies, they don't understand why they are appealing. I talk to some men, and they don't understand why they are appealing. It's crazy because I talked to a client that was, and this is, sometimes back. So it's nothing recent. Nobody on this call. Nobody that nobody knows. So I'm not talking about anybody. This is a long time ago. This client was very good at a lot of different things. And this client said, because I was working with the client, because they said they wanted to start generating capital. And once again, let me put out my disclaimer. I'm not talking about anybody on this call, anybody that you guys know. This was like 30 years ago. So I'm not addressing anybody on this call. I got it? I'm not talking about anybody. I never use examples of people unless I ask you first, or it's something that's very, very positive. In this case, I was talking about, now there are some people on this call that may have something similar, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people. I had a client way 30 years ago. Well, some of you guys were born. And no matter what I said, the client had a reason why this was not something that should be promoted. Now, what do I mean by promoted? Remember that video I shared with you guys with Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey said, same thing I've been saying, there's something that you are just good at. It comes easy to you. It doesn't really take a lot of effort for you to, let's say sew, cook, clean, sing, whatever. That's something that you do that it just comes really, really easy to you. Okay? And it takes no effort for you. It's it's very easy for you. But for other people, it's a little bit difficult. Like my son Kendrick, like putting shit, I don't care what comes in the box. I got a treadmill that came with like 100 pieces. My son Kendrick came over and put it together. It took him about like 10 minutes. I'd have been putting that thing together. It took me a whole week. I remember he thinks like an engineer. He went to school for engineering. What is the point? That's his gift. So when I see your gift and I tell you your gift, not you personally, but I was talking about this one client. That's what their response was. What was the response? That's not a gift. Okay, I don't know nobody else that can put it together that easy with that. That's because he was doing a whole bunch of other things at the same time. No effort. Some people can sing, hit those high notes real easy. Other people can sing, they can hit those high notes, but they got to warm up. They got to put out of water. They got to make sure, they got to go through, a bunch of, they got to, blah, 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 blah. They got to do a lot of stuff. There's some people that can play, some people play football. They go out there on the field. Man, there's some people that natural God-given speed. They can go out there and just like, man, they can have their suit on, street clothes. They can go out there on, 4-3-40. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by being seen. See, being seen, getting attention, is a reason why you're seen. There's a reason why you get attention. Because everybody else, they see it, they notice it, but you don't. Now, the reason why you don't notice it goes back to King Leopold. It goes back to Negroes were taught to read, not reason. We were taught to structure poverty, a.k.a. be a part of a group, not to be an individual. So the fact that you don't want to stand out, why? You're programmed, if I stand out, I'm going to draw attention to myself. If you draw attention to yourself, that means that you're better than everybody else. No, it doesn't. It means you're fucking different than everybody else. Nobody's better than nobody on this call. Everybody's different, though. Ain't nobody got your fingerprint but you. So you should accept that today. Someday, you got to get to the point where you realize that you're different. You ain't better. And it's your difference that is drawing the attention. People are interested. You are appealing because you're different. You ain't better. You ain't putting nobody down. You ain't amping nobody up. The fact that you are a gift, shit, I got a gift too. Everybody got a gift. Because most Negroes don't know their gift. Because remember, I'm talking about some deep, dark psychology that goes to the emotional need to belong to a group instead of being an individual. That was bred into the DNA of all Latino, especially if you're a melanated individual. You are not programmed with white privilege. You don't have the ability to go to the front of the line just because of the color of your skin. You programmed to take your ass to the back of the line and fucking blend in. You're programmed to let the dominant culture go to the front. That's what King Leopold put into. I ain't met a Negro yet that don't have that same disease. That's what Willie Lynch was telling you. Now, I know a bunch of black conscious Negroes that talk all this shit, and it's sad because why don't we fight ourselves? If all these gang members are so hard, why don't all the Negroes get together and go raid, What? Every time something pop off in the hood, we would go to the hood and we would burn our shit down. Why don't we go to the white man's side of town and burn his shit down? Every black person on this call, you know why. Negro, you ain't stupid. Neither am I. Your ass gonna get shot. But why did they let you go burn down Watts? Remember what that shit happened in the 60s and 70s? burn down watch. Why? Well, you can march and you can picket, but what is it? What is the psychology behind it? Same thing with religion. I have no problem if you start a church and you can get 1,000,000 members. But do what Dr. Malachi York did. Where he at? I like talking to Negroes, man. It's funny. Oh, you want to build something? Oh, what you want to build? Yeah, that's what I thought. Where's the black dollar at? You've all read the books and the studies. You heard my boy Claude Anderson or Claude, what's his name? Claude Back. His book, what's it called? Something economics. I forgot. I read that book back, 20 years ago. Infrastructure. It's not bad. It's not good. It just is. What is the point? Self-sufficiency. What's that mean? It's amazing to me. I mean, this shit's amazing. I know a lot of professional athletes that I grew up with that was in the NFL. I can have 3 names right now that come to my head. They at home right now, broke, homeless. One of my friends, Ernest Jackson, played 10 years with the Steelers, and 2, I think, with the San Diego Chargers before they came to the LA now. Right now, that nigga goes at home. Well, he's gone now, but when he was around, all my friends that went to the NFL and played for years, they all broke. All of their attorneys, all of their agents, everybody they work with, none of them were black. It's very interesting to me. What's even more so interesting is what we call trust. I live in a white neighborhood. And it's interesting, I remember telling my wife when we was looking, I warned her, I said, well, let's go back. And she's like, nope. Now, I'm not from San Antonio. I grew up in Houston, right outside of Houston. Now, I think about like David Robinson. He don't live in the hood. I go over to the Dominion where all of the Spurs that are black, they all live in this neighborhood in San Antonio called the Dominion, most of them. Why they live over there? So when I met my wife, we kept a coffee shop and bookstore in Leominster in the hood. And every time somebody started doing something positive, and whenever we was looking at buying a home in the hood, they told us, you don't want to do that. I said, well, why not? Because the Negroes will come and steal your shit. My response was, well, they got to get through my security, my dogs, and my guns first. But what's the point? In the neighborhood I live in right now, I can leave my front door unlocked and open. Mm-hmm. Who really have any problems? Can't do that in the hood. How come? Now, we all know the answer to the question. But nobody wants to address the answer to the question. When I talk about the black conscious leaders, now, you need to start at home. What does that mean? Well, there's some economic issues in the hood that creates mental issues and a bunch of other issues. But it starts where? Personal accountability. Why? Before we address all of the redlining, before we address all of the, lending, disadvantages, we all know that. But there's still a way that you think that needs to be addressed before you go to the bank and try to get a loan. Because the way that you're thinking is going to fuck up the loan. Even if I give you the money, you're still going to mess it up because you don't think. So I deal with the way people think. Before I ever talk about money, let's talk about how you think. Why? Because you're going to fuck up your money if you don't change your thinking. The same brain that created a problem cannot be the same brain that solved the problem. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a problem. You would have already solved it. So what is the money? The money. What is the issue? what King Leopold said. But the dominant culture, no. Now, this shit is organized. It's not like by accident that you're here. So if they can structure religion, that's all religion is, just like when I was a cop. A cop is nothing but an organized gang. They just got a badge and a gun. So it's just legal extortion. So it's the government. But you're going to fight them? No. Change the way you see organized crime. I have no problem with the dominant culture because I know how they think. I tell you guys about the climate. I said, man, how did you get all this? Every person that has invested deeply, heavily into me as an individual have been white, Caucasian men. And I've had a lot of young black men that said, how do you get white Caucasian men to invest in you? The head coach of my son's football team pulled me and the wife to the side and said, I would like to take your son with me. He's the head coach of a high school football team in Texas. He got a head coaching job for a college in Nebraska. He wants to take our son, my bonus son, my wife's son, with him to Nebraska. Do you know why he wants to take him to Nebraska? You know what he said? He said, your son will fit in good around our people. He don't even know what he said. What he's really saying is, your son is not a threat. What he's really saying is, your son is a good house, but I raised him to be, he's a large black man. So I raised him so that way he don't get shot. But I raised him the same way I am. You keep that other you chained up in the basement, but you take his ass with you everywhere you go. And so when stupid shows up, you let his ass out. You whoop ass and you take names. So he know how to fake the funk. So I'm not a threat to the dominant culture until I need to be a threat. That's how you get shit done. Now the average Negro don't know how to do that. So the point of the class is, what mindset does it take? So what if you're an angry person? That energy, that anger, I can pick that up. So can the dominant culture. You think they're going to loan you some money? I can tell you the answer to that question. Ain't happening, bro. God operates and unfolds in people and stages. Your job is to learn how to use what we call religion, the Bible, or the Quran, or any book, to figure out how to move forward without hurting, harming, and defrauding any man, woman, child on the planet. That's your job. You have to decide right now if you want to learn the truth about how to build our life. If you're not an asset, if you're a liability, the white man, the black man, ain't nobody going to call you and say, hey, come with me. Why? You're a liability. In fact, you're a threat. So no, I ain't taking you with me. It's not until you become a light. It's not until that you become appealing. So the fact that you don't want to be appealing, I got a big problem with it, but that means that you don't want to be black. You don't want to be white. You don't want to be Hispanic. You don't want to be speaking Japanese. I don't care what you are. You should want to be it. You should be comfortable in your own skin. There's nobody on the planet like you, and you don't want to be you? You mean to tell me you want to blend into the wall and not be seen because you don't believe you got worth and value? That's really what's happening. So I remember I didn't read this in the book. I had the same problem. I had to address this shit in me. I had to find out how come I don't want to be, because I thought I would have to compete. See, so I thought they had to compete. If I was a carpenter. I thought I had to compete with all the other carpenters for the job. Then I realized, hold up, I can be a carpenter, but that's what I do. That's not who I be. So the moment I tapped into who I be, Brother Mitch, no more competition, brother. Man, there's going to be jealousy, there's going to be envy, there's going to be strife. You're going to experience all of that because why? You are, number one, appealing. Number two, you are very interesting. Number three, you are so authentic that makes you different, makes you unique, and makes you visual. So, ladies, no, it's not your ass and your titties. Don't get me wrong. We like ass and titties. But that's not it. I'm attracted to your cheek. So is everybody else. Now, you can convolute it in your own head. Men, ain't the size of your pecker brothers had to be the bearer of good news. Ain't the size of your muscles. I don't care if you got green eyes and you light skinned, or if you blue black and we can't even see your ass at night without a flashlight. The physical don't mean jack beat, especially when you're dealing with the dominant culture. They read cheap. So do I. Attention is the new currency. You can't walk into the bank. I can go to any bank in America. And based upon, I was shocked at how it works. I brought my vet. I just came in. They didn't ask for no verification. They didn't ask for my driver's license. They just ran my credit. Saw my credit card. I said, Mr. Rogers, which car would you want to take to the test drive today? That's never happened to me. When I bought this house, the underwriting department did not believe that I was me. I had to get certified bank statements, PayPal accounts, letters. They refused to believe the income that I was generating. They refused. You see, in the spirit realm, are you an asset or are you a liability? Visual systems create thoughts in the minds of other people. What that means is, once you step into your calling, your lane, and you study yourself, something happens to you. It's hard to put it into the English language, but I'm just going to say it the best way I can. Your verbs become very activating. You have what's called spiritual quickening. Your spirit quickens other people. It's not what you say, it's not what you do, it's what you exude. It's what you emanate. So when you speak as one having authority. Same way Jesus did. So Jesus left, remember? So he came back. They say, isn't this the carpenter's son? So why does he speak as one having authority? So that's what happens to you. This is how you know that you're in the flow. You know that you are in the flow because you do not operate in fear, doubt, and unbelief. I could talk about dark and evil shit all day. It don't have no power over me. I have no emotional response. I only get animated by the light. The darkness works for me. I don't work for it. It should be the same with you. You should be able to talk about the darkest, evilest shit that everybody else is afraid to talk about, and you should be laughing while you're talking. Why? You're not emotionally invested there. They work for you. You don't work for them. If somebody else, let's say, like with the, and don't get me wrong, there are reasons that you want to, I'm going to use the word shield or hide certain things. It's like the difference between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Money Mayweather. Why does Money Mayweather, when he goes out in public, He has these big ass guards with him, and they all around him. And everywhere he go, his entourage, we'll put it that way, along with, I'm just using him, he just popped in my head. I can talk about any celebrity, 50 sports guys. When they go out in public, they got what? Security. I watched and I see some of these other guys, like Pacquiao, for example. When he goes out, little kids run up to him, people run up to him in his country, because remember, this fool was like, he's like a god over there. He's like a celebrity, because he's in the Philippines, right? Third world country, poor country. So what's the difference? Well, the people like him. But in our company, in our culture, the people, they don't like him. Meaning, why do you need security? Excuse me. Now, whether I have a gazillion dollars or whether I have $1, I would never have security. I would never have bodyguards because I would never have any enemies. Now, I will have people that may not like me. There may be somebody out there that may like, 50 used to wear, he just concert, he would wear his, vest and stuff. Why? That's crazy. People out there in the world, I understand. But it's amazing the mindset. See, when you come from a place of light, no weapon formed against you can prosper. All who rise up against you will fall. That means that you have an internal physics where you learn how to trust and you attract positive and you compel negative on a spirit level. The inside attracts because you are an outlet of unlimited energy. Everything that you understand is why when I go places, like I said before, especially when I first started, and I knew that the mental conversations of the kingdom that was inside of me was based upon the high of thinking and assuming my desires fulfilled. Meaning, I had a dream, I had a vision of creating creating an organization of like-minded people seeking the deeper aspects of life and godliness. That's my dream. It's still my dream. So, when I'm around white folks, I don't give off the vibration of a militant black man. I don't give off the vibration of an angry black man. When I'm around black people, I don't give off the vibration of an Uncle Tom. I don't give off the vibration of a house Negro. I don't give off the vibration or the frequency that I'm there covertly sent by the dominant culture to spy on you. There's none of that. So no matter where I go, I am for. I'm not against. That energy that's exuded, that's attractive. That's how you get attention. So when people are attracted to you, you're not surprised, you're not concerned, you're not afraid because you don't have that frequency. You don't have those thoughts. Whether I'm talking about my past or whether I'm talking about my future, my past has no power over my future. And my future has no power over my past because they're on different frequencies. I can tap into any frequency because, again, I'm outside. I'm the observer of the observer that is observing. So as the observer of the observer, I'm sitting back with my feet kicked up, and I'm observing the fact that I'm on the mountaintop. And I can choose, do I want to feel the emotion? I think, now I'm just going to sit back and put my feet up, and I'm going to watch me spending my money. And then when I'm down in the valley, I'm going to ask myself, do I want to feel the emotion of being in the valley? Stressed out, worried, not know what I'm going to do, or I'm going to put my feet up and I'm going to watch me freaking out. And then as the higher self, I'm going to tell me that's freaking out, dog, are you serious? Like, but are you slow? Like how many times, bro, we got to go to this, man? So I'm the observer of the observer. So when I talk about my past, I'm so thankful for my past. My past, and I'm thinking about my daughter when she transitioned. I'm so thankful for that experience because I get to share with other people. And I'm thankful that my daughter, because she did not like being in the body that she was in. She wanted another one. That's her prerogative. She gets to choose just like I get to choose. You can't make somebody stay here if they don't want to stay. You can't make somebody go if they don't want to go. You're responsible for you. So why should you have feelings? No, I know. That's probably above your pay grade. Or some of you guys' pay grade. It's okay. My job is to exude what? My reality, not yours. What is your job? Your job is to exude your reality. And guess what? If you say, Doc, what you said a bunch of bullshit. If I lost my daughter, I don't know what I would do. I would be depressed. I would cry. I don't know if I get over it. Man, I couldn't do that, brother. And I would say, it is done unto you as you believe. Go with God, my child. That's what I would tell you. If you say, Doc, man, shoot, if I won the lottery, I got $1 million, man, I'm going to give me a house, I'm going to give me a big-ass fucking fence, I'm going to give me cameras everywhere, I'm going to give me 20 rock wallers, I'm going to have me a fucking security detail to follow me around, I'm going to give me a big-ass fucking bulletproof limousine, and I'm going to have a chauffeur driver, and everywhere I would go, I'm going to kind of get it clear out the mall before I get there so I can shop alone. I'm going to say, go with God, my child. Why? I ain't doing that shit. That's all that energy exudes. What the fuck you afraid of? Like, who are you that somebody, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I get it. You know, I've been watching a lot of TV. Overstand. But energy is contagious. One bad apple can spoil a whole bunch of fun. See, I'm so busy having fun, I don't give a fuck about all of that. When it's my time to transition, man, I'm gone, bro. Can't nobody start it, can't nobody stop it. I'm one with God already. See, once you become your desired experiences, I've already experienced my desires. I've already done it all. See, love activates a field of protection. When you are in an elevated state of consciousness, you increase your vibratory rate 144,000 times. You have literally vibrated. This is called wave genetics, by the way. We already touched on this before. That's why this is the holy grail that allows you to exude a vibrational alchemy that's like gold. So when people see you, it's like seeing Jesus. That's why they're attracted to you. You got a golden halo around you. And you think they want their money. Or you think they want your money. You think they want your titties or your ass. Then you may think they want your pecker. Now, are there some low vibrational entities out there like that? Yeah, but guess what? They can't get into your aura. They can't get into your space. They can't come close enough to you. Why? You on the 10th floor, bruh. They're on the first floor. Unless you observe, and by the process of observing them and feeling the fear that they're exuding, zing, you drop down to the first floor, they got you. It is done unto you as you believe. Just like Job, the thing that you fear the most will come upon you. Just the reason I don't do fear. I don't care if it's real or not. See, when you become a single standing column, when you become the observer of the observer that is doing the observing, you are removed 3 layers. All they can do is see you from afar. Your reason to live must be for you. You see, reality is what you tell yourself it is. I've been doing this for a long time. Continued effort and right thinking, that's the smoking gun. pure essence. It's pure energy. It is pure being. It is the emotional alignment, the source. So when I'm talking about the past, the present, or the future, those are thoughts, but they have no electricity and no magnetism. I only put my electricity and my magnetism into my desire-fulfilled state. I put no electricity and no magnetism, aka emotion, into that thought. So without the emotion, it's dead. It requires Chi, universal life force energy. Where is my universal life force energy? All of my universal life force energy is in my desire-fulfilled state, which is the eternal now. So therefore, I've unplugged the past. I've unplugged the future because I am the future. I brought the future into the present. So I'm feeling the electricity and the magnetic, the feelings. This is called second thought generating. We broke this down already. Because your second thought generates feelings. And feelings are magnetic. And feelings attract and align. So my second thought is what? Love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control. Against such things, there's no law. So my brothers and my sisters, you can be the frequency that you want to be. The reason why you are so powerful, the reason why people are blowing up your phone, the reason why, even though they may think, remember, you control how other people think, because you control how other people see you. The law of assumption, because people are your mirror. So if people see you a certain way, it's because you are allowing them to see you that way. Because you are visualizing, think about it, feeling it. People see me as an individual expression of God on earth, because I see myself as an individual expression of God on earth. It's amazing. I go through life every day, and life is a party. I have no problems, because all of my problems are what? Opportunities. I only have opportunities to continue to exude love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control. Everything that comes into my life is God telling me, go higher, my friend. Go higher, my friend. Go higher, my friend. Everything that's in my life is like, requires me to think on these things. Whatever things are good. Whatever things are just. Whatever things are a good report. Think on these things. So why is it that everything is forcing me to grow? Do you guys remember what I ordered? So if I'm ordering $30,000 a month, $360,000 a year, the universe said you have to be the vibration equivalent of $30,000 a month, $1,000 a day. And you do the math. So to be the vibration equivalent, the universe say, go higher, my friend. So I'm telling you the same thing the universe is telling me. Get attention, add value, provide support. I love you. And you can do about it. See you guys later on tonight. God bless.